This video will guide you through the installation of the M370 and M380 series Magnalock. We are using the M380 BDCX model with integrated camera and motion detector. You will see the use of a new plastic template for a fast and easy install of the bracket-mounted Magnalock. Have the following installation tools ready. The physical position of the camera and PIR module may be reconfigured to be located at either end of the Magnalock as desired. To remove a module, first disconnect the wiring, then compress the legs of the support bracket and slide the bracket out of the retaining rails. To install a module, compress the legs of the support bracket and slide the bracket into the retaining rails, then reconnect the wiring. Use a No. 1 Phillips screwdriver to remove, reposition, and reinstall the inserts in the cover as necessary. Before mounting the Maglock, configure the dip switches and jumpers. It's much easier to do that on the table than when it's mounted. Remove the 2 screws that secure the cover to the lock and set these aside. You'll need them to reattach the cover later. This Magnalock series has been designed with several user-adjustable settings. Let's go through each setting. LED indicator. The default factory setting is enabled. If you would like to disable the LED, set dip switch SW3 position 1 to off. Change the color of the LED indicator. The LED can display 2 colors, green and red. You can select which color to display when the magnet is locked. The default setting is green when the magnet is locked and red when the magnet is unlocked. If you would like to switch these colors, set dip switch SW3 position 2 to on. Additional features can be set on some models. Set the auto relock delay. The M380 includes a configurable auto relock delay timer. Delay times are set using switch SW3 position 3 and position 4. Follow this chart to set the delay. Set the request to exit signal mode. Some models of the M380 include a request to exit contact that can send a signal to the access control system. The default setting is normally closed, meaning the request to exit circuit is closed and will open when a request to exit is made. You can choose normally open by changing jumper JP1 from pins 1-2 to pins 2-3. Set the BondStat mode. All models of the M380 include BondStat, which will send a signal to the access control system if the door is not properly secured. The default setting is normally closed, meaning the BondStat circuit is closed when the bond is secure. You can choose normally open by changing jumper JP3 from pins 1-2 to pins 2-3. Set the door position mode. The M380 includes a door position switch that will send a signal when the door is closed. The default setting is normally closed, meaning the door position circuit will close when the door is closed. You can select normally open behavior by changing jumper JP4 from pins 1-2 to pins 2-3. Fill out the labels so if the lock ever needs service, the maintenance personnel will know how it's configured. Place the label on the inside of the cover. Remove the 2 screws that secure the lock to the mounting bracket and set these aside as well. Slide the mounting bracket over and remove it from the top of the lock chassis. Pinch and insert the plastic spacers flush into the dovetail slots of the lock mounting bracket. These will allow you to position the armature plate correctly on the door. Use masking tape to protect the door and frame while drilling. Maintain a 1-inch clearance from the frame edge for installation or removal of lock in either direction. It's very important to make sure the door is tightly closed. Place the lock bracket on the secure side of the door against the frame stop toward the side of the door that does not have hinges. Adjust the bracket so the spacers rest against the closed door. Mark the 2 oblong bracket mounting holes. There is space on both sides of the bracket for wiring. You may require only 1 depending on the number of connections you are making. Also, mark the frame for wire feed-through hole at the end closest to where you will access the wire run. These holes should be towards the rear edge of the mounting bracket and touch the end of the bracket. Set the bracket aside for now. If installing on a wood door frame, Go to Step 7. Punch the frame at bracket mounting hole marks. Drill 2 3/8-inch diameter holes. Make sure not to oversize the hole. Next is the blind nut installation in the 3/8-inch holes. Hold the blind nut with a 1/2-inch box end wrench. Keep pressure on the mounting surface while using a 3/16-inch hex wrench or Allen wrench to tighten the cap screw and collapse the blind nut. It's very important to make sure the blind nut is flush with the frame so the mounting bracket sits perfectly against the frame. If you're installing on a wood door frame, drill 2 holes 3/16 in diameter by 1 1/4 inch deep at the bracket mounting hole marks. Drill 1/2-inch wire access holes as needed on one or both sides of the bracket. The next step is to temporarily secure the bracket to the frame. The mounting holes are slotted in the bracket so it allows for some play. After you install the strike plate and align the lock, you will tighten up the bracket on the frame. With spacers against the closed door, use a Phillips screwdriver to install the bracket. Now for the strike or armature plate installation. Close the door and place the template between the bracket spacers. Mark the 3 strike hole locations. You can remove the bracket spacers. Drill 3 holes in the door for the strike, 1 for the sex bolt and 2 for the roll pins. At the strike mounting center mark, drill 1 3/8-inch diameter hole for the sex bolt through the door. Drill 1 3/8-inch diameter hole 1 inch deep at each side mark for the strike alignment roll pins. Be careful not to drill through the door. And now for the outside of the door. For a hollow metal door, drill out the 3/8-inch diameter strike mounting hole up to 1/2 inch diameter in the outer wall only. For a solid wood door, drill out the 3/8-inch diameter strike mounting hole to 1/2 inch diameter completely through. Insert a roll pin into each of the holes in the back of the strike. Gently tap into place using a hammer. Pass the screw through the bushing and into the strike. Insert 2 neoprene washers and apply the threading compound to the flathead socket screw. Place on the door and into the sex bolt. Align the strike plate on the inside of the door. Use a 3/16-inch hex wrench or Allen wrench to tighten the screw into the sex bolt. Here's a tip. Cover the sex bolt with a piece of cardboard to protect the finish while tapping it into place with a hammer. Do not over-tighten. Allow the strike to pivot on the washers so the magnet can latch properly. Next, you adjust the location of the bracket with the lock and strike. Loosen the 2 screws that secure the mounting bracket to the frame so the bracket can move. Slide the lock onto the mounting bracket. Make sure the bracket spacers are removed. Gently close the door to test the fit of the strike with the door closed. The entire face should make contact with the strike plate when the door is closed. Mark the back edge of the mounting bracket and then remove the lock from the bracket in order to finish installing the bracket. Ensure the mounting bracket aligns with the marks. Then tighten the mounting screws with a Phillips screwdriver. There are 4 remaining holes in the mounting bracket for the self-tapping screws. Use bracket holes as a guide to drill the 4 holes in the frame. Use a Phillips screwdriver to install the anchor screws. From either end of the mounting bracket, slide the lock chassis to the center of the bracket. The edge of the lock chassis must be flush with the end of the mounting bracket when centered. Secure the lock chassis to the mounting bracket using 2 6/32 by 5/8-inch pan head screws and a Phillips screwdriver. Pull wiring through the wire feed holes drilled in the frame. Make connections to the terminal strips on the control board. You may need to strip the wires before feeding into the terminal block. All connections to the terminal blocks may be made by pressing the locking mechanism, inserting the stripped wire into the terminal recess, and releasing to lock the wire in place. For more detailed wiring diagrams, contact Securitron tech support at 1-800-Magnalock. If installing a motion detector equipped model, set the control features using dip switch SW1. Let's go through the settings. PIR sensitivity can be decreased by switching SW1 position 1 to on. The PIR ambient light compensation feature is enabled or disabled using SW1 position 4. To enable, set position 4 to on. There are 3 positions for the motion detector in the modular bracket. To extend the zone further from the opening, position the motion detector in the middle or most upright position. Camera-equipped models feature an interface control board which includes a 2-position terminal block. Connect the camera to the security system using a 2-wire twisted pair at the terminal block. The included video transceiver balun can be used to adapt the video signal for BNC connections. After installation and wiring are complete, install the lock covering using the 2 Phillips screws removed in the first step. Make sure not to pinch any wiring. If you have any questions or problems with the installation, call Securitron at 1-800-Magnalock to speak with our expert tech support.